Hey, so Miller fella, what you up to? Haven't seen you around in the woods very much recently, and I was swinging by here and saw what you doing with a skill saw, Miller. Yes, man. Yeah, Hey, so I'm working on a little project for the myotis, yes, habitat for myotis. What's a myotis? Myotis is I think I think the technical term is bat, but I'm pretty sure it's bat. Yeah, it's bat. Myotis. So building habitats for bats. That's my my project today. Anyhow. Well, Miller, that sounds like a really outstanding and upright job you're doing there. You're building houses for low income and senior bats. Is that what I'm understanding correctly? I'm glad you're spending your time on that, but let's go ahead and tell the audience here just what's involved, and let's put one together and see what happens. There are no bats around here right now, so that's probably just okay for them. So let's look at the instructions real quick, just so we can understand what's going on. Yeah, how the bat holders, bat house builder's handbook. Whoa, okay. Oh, that's a sucker we're looking for. Anyhow, somebody's been through this. Looked at that. Whoa, okay. Oh, okay, we got enough of that. Oh man, technical stuff. Hey, there's the dimensions, partitions. Oh no. Oh man. Oh heck. Oh, yeah, map of the US of A. And oh, there are little guys in there. Oh wow. Oh, another guy. But I don't have any bats. Any kinds of differences. Okay. What we learned from experimentation. Yeah, look at it. You're looking at it. This is what we learned from experimentation. Don't do it. Anyhow, yeah, so let's see. There we go. And troubleshooting. I'm good at troubleshooting, so I'll have to do a special course on that. And then frequently asked bat questions, like bat questions. Bats occupy. Bats need your help. Oh, damn, yeah, but they gotta be pretty dire straits if they need my help. Anyhow, so okay, basically we understand what to do now. So let's having read that, we can discard that. We don't need that anymore. And well, Miller, I'd like to say that this is really fascinating and very informative, but actually it's rather boring and tedious. And I don't know where'd you get this idea of making a bat house of all things? I mean, get a life, a bat house? Well, yeah. Hey, boss. Oh, thanks for that encouragement. I'm so glad you're really interested in that. And, no, I got the idea actually. Been lurking around in the background, but the Forestry Service sent out a little memo just about a few weeks ago saying, hey, bats are in real decline, and all these forest fires in the California area have caused increased concern about the habitat for bats. I don't know why. I mean, increased concern about habitat for every animal, I would think. But okay, so the bat house. So this is the back, or the main structure of the bat house, and this is let's see, a piece of plywood in this case. It's about 54 inches long. The basic idea is they like to be long and pretty wide. So wide is like 2 feet wide. So what's going to happen? This is going to be vertical. Oh, get this. So this is the back, or the main part of the bat house. So it's vertical. The bats will come in, hopefully will land in this sort of area down here, and then this part is going to be enclosed, and so they'll crawl up, and they use these little slots. See, of the gnawed little grooves in here, so that with their little toes and their fingers, they can crawl up inside here. And why is it so long vertically? I mean, bats aren't huge. They don't have to be like a huge skyscraper. But what they do is they come up and they move around depending upon the temperature. So because this is mounted vertically on the side of a wall or something, and it's going to get nice and toasty up here because heat rises, and there's going to be an enclosure so the heat doesn't go out. And down here it's going to be quite cool because this is where the entry is. So there'll be a temperature gradient, and they can move up and down in this area to find a comfortable living temperature. Now, if there are too many bats, some of them are not going to be so happy, but hey, they have to go and live somewhere else, or you work out a deal where you pay a little bit more, you get a more comfortable temperature. That's called a capitalist system. Anyhow, so that's the basic structure of the bat house. And so we have to put a frame around it and seal it up and stuff like that. So here we are, sort of halfway got the framing around. Using some old leftover flooring adhesive I had from previous project, just to provide some caulking around the edges. I normally wouldn't have done it, but I had this caulking, this adhesive floating around, and can use it up. And so here you can see the slits I've made about every ½ inch or so, and maybe 1/16 of an inch into the plywood. The coating is a stain, so use a stain. So if you were using paint, the slots would tend to fill up with paint, but with a stain, which is thinner, it doesn't fill them up. Again, this is internal, so try to keep it dark because the little bats like it dark. And then if you look really carefully, you can see that when they come up to the top of the facility, there's a little message for them. It says, "Welcome to Leduc Bat Town," and a little drawing. And of course, it's written upside down because for bats, that's the right way up. Isn't that nice? So we're going to put the lid on, which is actually the front-facing side, and go from there. So here we are with the basic structure complete. We're now ready for final painting. So here we go. So at the base, we have a little, this is a landing zone about 5 inches high. And then the main enclosure itself, which is on the order of 50 so inches in this case, about 2 feet across. A little gap in here, a ventilation gap for suggestions. We have the side view of the decorative top. I extended the top just a little bit over, so that here, so it has a little shelter from the plywood edges of the boards. Caulking was just a waste and made a mess. I hate caulking, anyhow. Does kind of seal it up. And on that subject, we see that on this side, where the slits had extended all the way to the end of the board when I was sawing, the caulking is actually probably pretty good because it stops the moisture from getting in more than a ½ inch or so. Even so, it should be caulked along here. Probably would have been better just to run a bead of caulk after the fact, and even better not to have extended the slits all the way to the edge of the board. I could have just lifted the saw up, and then there would have been a flush, flat seal with no slits at the end. Anyhow, so lessons learned, and there we have it. Hey, Miller, you got any bites on that that open house you got going on on the bat house there. See, you got it all posted up there, and you got multiple listings and stuff like that. But hey, what you thinking? What you getting? You getting any bites? Yeah, hey boss. Hey, thanks for coming over. I guess you saw the ad in the paper about the open house for the little colony, but I don't think you qualify. You're not a bat. You're what was rhymes with a bat begins with an R. Yeah, looks pretty good, no? We got a good location. Maybe not so quite as high as we wanted, but we don't know. And maybe these obstructions near the end might get them a little bit upset because there's roosting places for predators and things like that. But we'll see how it goes. It's November, so hey, these bats aren't going to show up until when? April, May. So we'll give it a little time to have an open house, have it on the market for a while, and see what happens. Yeah, well, good luck, Miller, being a bat landlord. It's probably about the only thing. Hey, and you're so clueless. That sign, open house. The bats can't read. And at night, it's really hard, even if they could read, to read the open house because they basically use ultrasonics. Boy, you're clueless, Miller. So as a sidebar to the construction of our bat house has been the discussion amongst some of the audience of the spacing of the gratings. So this is the landing zone for the little beasties, and you notice that there's a grill here, or a grating as we call it. This is for them to land on, and to actually they can catch their little toes into the grooves. But what about the spacing of the grooves and the depth of the grooves? So just happened in the process of looking for a chisel, I found this old reprint from, let's see, OFC 2000. Maybe some of you have remember those days. Anyhow, understanding spectral response of fiber gratings. So, and fiber gratings are just a more sophisticated version of what we're talking about here, which are traditional gratings on a planar surface. And so what this tutorial, of course, covers are the strength of the gratings and how you tune the response. Again, the strength is the depth or the profile of the grating, and the response of the grating to the various frequencies that the bats are using. Now, in this case, there's also the question of the angles, and of course, these are the Bragg grading rules, where we have those covered in some of the yeah, and I guess the question is, again, do we have a uniform grading, or we in fact go for a non-uniform grading, which is what we've done here to provide a more broad spectral response, so we can get all both the high frequencies and the low frequency bats coming to here, so we get a more diverse community. And that's what we're looking for, diversity. And the ideal, of course, is to go to the chirped grading. And that, in fact, we were not able to do because of lack of skill in using the skill saw. It turns out the skill saw, I had always thought that the skill saw meant that you could saw with skill, but it actually assumes that you have skill. That's a separate subject. But anyhow, so I thought just deep dive on one of the aspects of the bat house, which actually, I mean, turns out this bat house, although it looks rather straightforward, contains a lot of technology and a lot of interesting aspects. So anyhow, end of sidebar.